where brevity is paramount.
Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Chet and John's reassuringly finite gaming playlist. My name's John Denton and with me as always is Chet Roivas.
All right.
We're a couple of veteran video games journalists, I guess you could call us that. You've probably read our stuff over the years in OXM, The Telegraph, Games TM, all sorts of places. Basically how this podcast works is we aim for 20 games in 40 minutes or thereabouts. So we both have a top 10 list of the games we've been playing the most that week, and we reveal them to each other one by one. There's a bit of chat, a bit of banter on the way, and because we're fortunate enough to both work in the games industry, we can focus on stuff that's not even out yet or is just out this week that we've been lucky enough to play. So enough chat. Let's kick things off with your number 10, Chet.
Number 10. Right, what have I got here? Ghost Trick on the iOS version of Ghost Trick.
You picked it up.
I did. I did about the first half hour. After about 5 minutes, it was mad love. I was just like, I love this already. But I've decided after doing the first half hour that I'm going to play it on the DS and not finish it on the iPhone.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't know. I really can't put my finger on it. It feels so much like a Nintendo
That's
game.
funny for an iPhone.
What did I say?
You really can't put your finger on it.
Oh dear, that's right. No, I really don't, I couldn't quite place why my feelings were the way they were, but it felt so much like a Nintendo game. The way that it was localized, the sort of just the general sort of amiable nature of it, and I don't know.
So you're going to pick up the DS version instead?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to play it, but for some reason it just felt wrong playing it on a phone. Like I was playing a pirate copy or something. And I'd be really interested to know who localised it, whether it was actually Capcom or Nintendo, because it has a very Nintendo-y flavour, just the sort of light-hearted banter.
I think it was Capcom, because it's similar to how the Phoenix Wright games are done, and they're localised by Capcom.
I could have sworn Nintendo did those as well, though, don't they?
If you're right there, then I'm an idiot. So
I don't know why I'm saying that I'm right and you're not, because I might be wrong. But I thought they treated those as essentially second party.
Someone did them, and they did a good job.
They did, and I commend them for that. And I look forward to seeing stroke hearing more of it when I get the DS version at some point.
I'm glad you picked it up though.
It's great. I mean, if you've only got an iPhone, get it. It's great. And the first hour and a half or so, as John said, is free. So you can't go wrong.
You cannot go wrong.
Brilliant.
Excellent. Talking of free games, my number 10 is a game called Rage of the Mad God, which a few people were talking about online this week, so I decided to check it out. It's like an 8-bit styled MMO shooter. So it's free to play. It's really frantic. You play as a little wizard, little sort of sprite wizard, go through a couple of little training bits, and then you're off in this huge flat world shooting things, like a really old school, almost Robotron gauntlet type deal. But there's loads of other people in there who are real players, and there's loads of quests that you can just go. All the quests are just shoot this thing and dodge the bullets. It's really hectic, frantic. Don't know if I'd ever play it again, but it's worth checking out. Rage of the Mad God, it's called. I think it's just rageofthemadgod.com. Some people seem to love it. I thought it was all right.
What was this, an iOS, or was it just a Flash game?
PC browser game.
Okay.
So, I'm sure it works on a Mac too.
When you say it's an MMO, is it like it's just shitloads of people all online? It's not like I don't know why. When anyone says MMO, they tend to mean MMO RPG.
Yeah, no, it's not MMORPG, it's MMO 8-bit shooter. So there are loads of other people around. You kind of team up with them and go to do the quests with them, but it happens organically. Like you see another bloke and you're like, this guy's going to be able to help me. Rather than you stop and have a chat and talk about fucking armour, I don't know. But
Are there microtransactions?
I don't know. To be honest, it's number 10, not number 1, so I didn't play it for long enough. There's probably a bit more depth in there. I might go back to it because it was fun. It's just the music. Someone said the music was good. They were fucking wrong. The music makes you want to just scoop your brain out of your eye socket.
Nice.
So maybe next time I'll play it with the sound off.
Genuine. All right. My number 9 is Mass Effect 3. Sadly, not the full game, just the demo. I don't normally do demos, and I stayed away from the single-player component, but I had a look at the multiplayer, and it's looking a hell of a lot better than expected, actually. The AI is aggressive. The customization options make it feel quite fresh, because when you play Horde on any other game, customization is not normally important, but here it's really important. And from what I played, it's far more promising than you'd expect, really.
So is that what we're looking at? We're looking at a horde mode. So I've not been keeping tabs on the multiplayer, so I don't care, to be honest, for Mass Effect's multiplayer.
No, neither do I. To be honest, it's like I'll finish the story once, and I think I still want to spend time in this universe, and I've got friends who finished it. We'll play around a little bit. It's not something that anyone would buy the game for, but it's well packaged. It's nice. It's fine. It's like, I mean, considering how cynical everyone was about it, and that it was just going to be a complete rush job and a load of nonsense, they've spent a lot of time on it. I just fucking well hope that it's not to the detriment of the campaign.
How's the combat compared to 2? Is it a little sharper?
Yeah,
I got bored of it after 1 and 2.
I never understood that. I mean, I played through it 3 times, and I don't understand why that was. You're a bit more limber. It's a slightly faster. Massive differences, not really. You couldn't really tell.
It only needed a tightening up for me. It didn't need to be wholesale changes.
It's tighter. It's definitely tighter, but yeah, it's not. I mean, there's nothing shocking.
Cool. Just looking forward to it. We should have the full game next week, I would have thought.
Fucking hope so.
Number 9 for me, Super Street Fighter 4, game you and I have played together for many an hour. Basically, I'm just freshening up. I was due to get Street Fighter Cross Tekken this morning. Postman hasn't delivered it, so don't know if he's stolen it or whether it's just going to come tomorrow. But yeah, just want to fresh up on my fight stick skills before I get stuck into the real deal. So yeah, it's just amazing. Guile is the greatest human ever. Anyone disagrees with that, it's just going to get flash kicked to the noggin all day.
Yeah. Were you playing online or just like pissing around in the single player?
Just playing a couple of games online, then doing a bit of training, and I didn't play it for a massive amount of time. Just wanted to get my fingers working again.
What was online? I mean, because I haven't played Street Fighter Online in probably about a month or 2. Is there still people? I presume there's still people there that aren't complete and utter demons on it the whole time. Is it?
Yeah. It's still, it seemed to match me up with people of my level. I'm no, Daigo Superman or anything like that.
Damn true.
But I can hold my own. Yeah. Sort of did a 50-50 wins and losses. It was fine.
All right. You should have given me a call. I'd have kicked your ass.
All right. Thank you. 3 buttons. Well done.
Danny Boy. It's all about the Danny Boy. Anyway, my number 8 is Gunblade New York and LA Machine Guns. Another game that's sat on my shelf of stuff that I intend to go back to at some point. Really great. There's hardly anything you can say about it. If you've played Ghost Squad, which is another Sega shooter, and incidentally one of the best games on the Wii, somehow. I still can't put my finger on why that game's so great. But anyway, this has got some of that same flavour to it. And
it's a light gun game, is it?
Yeah, do you remember it? It was like one of those, you're flying around on that helicopter and you had those big machine guns in the arcade. Really fast-paced. And the targets, the reticules on the screen. I mean, just dumb fun, but really good. But I discovered this score attack mode I didn't know existed, where you're given 60 seconds, you don't have to worry about projectiles or getting hit, and you just try and get yourself on the scoreboard by causing as much carnage as possible. Incredibly addictive, and it's still... Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be getting rid of that. It's one of those games that's going to stay on my shelf, I reckon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So my next one, after talking about Child of Eden last week, I decided to go back to the real deal, Res HD, just to see if it still was as good as I thought, and it's even better. Just compared to playing Child of Eden and the issues that I had with that, with the second button for firing back at the aggressive enemies, and the music, mainly the music, just getting into that res flow again, and the progression when you hit that little box and then you move to the next state, evolution, whatever. Can't remember what it's called. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Still in my top 3 games of all time. Still a masterpiece. So lucky to meet Mizuguchi last year and have him sign my copy. Only time I've ever done that with anything. The only time I ever will. That game will last forever as far as I'm concerned.
How far did you get?
I did the first 2, and I think 2 is probably still my favourite. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Because last time I tried playing through it from beginning to end on the XBLA version, I couldn't get past the last level.
The proper last level.
Well, you know, things on the
There is
wall
a mind
asking you
killer.
weird questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bit. I don't know. I was probably just having an off day. What can you do?
It scales the difficulty depending on how well you're doing, though, doesn't it? So if you've been smashing it, you'll be at the hardest difficulty when you come into that level.
Is that?
So
I had no idea. I know like cave shooters do that a lot. I didn't know Res did that.
yeah, Res does that. And I found out God Hand does that as well, which is a game I haven't played this week, but I'm going to probably pick up and talk about next week
I might do that
because
as
it's
well.
now come out on PSN. God,
Genuine.
that's a real game.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. My number 7 is completely down to circumstances. Call of Duty Black Ops. I was at a mate's house. I had 2 hours to kill. All he had was Black Ops. I stuck it on, and online, it just reminded me it's still my favourite Call of Duty online by quite some distance. I think that Treyarch, the lesser of the two, you know, Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer, I think they do the best campaigns without a shadow of a doubt. But Treyarch now do the best multiplayer, no doubt.
Agreed.
It doesn't surprise me that people are still playing Black Ops, even though there's Modern Warfare 3 out there. I like everything about it. I like the perks. I like the progression system. I could see myself getting sucked right back into it again. It's the best Call of Duty.
Really, you can see yourself getting sucked back in.
Well, I mean, I mentioned to a mate that I've been playing. I was
Yeah.
like, "It's still good, man," and he was like, "I've been thinking about picking it up again." And it's like, I don't think it would reach the extent because I mean, you were to some degree on the same level that we were. When that came out, we were just like obsessed with
Oh
it.
yeah, no, I played a lot. That's the one I played the most by a long, long way. All the other ones I've kind of given up by level 20.
Yeah,
But
same.
that I prestige twice, which I never thought I'd ever do on anything, to be honest, because I tend to get bored of multiplayer shooters a bit quicker than yourself. But,
Well, I've never
yeah,
prestiged
Ops.
on anything, and I didn't think I would either. But I actually don't know how many times I prestiged on Black Ops, but I enjoyed every second. It's still good. It's still good.
Apart from getting shot when you've already run around the corner and the bullets still hit you. But
Sounds like
I forgive you, Treyarch.
all right. Well, good. That's noble. Nice.
Right, so my number 6 is a game called Ironworm on the iPhone. I had to play this game for review. I wish I hadn't. It's basically it is my fucking enemy. That game. It's everything that I don't like. As an idea, it's fine. You play as this little heavy metal worm / maggot thing. One side's a spiky ball. One side's the head of Tommy Iommi from Black Sabbath. It sounds good, and you can kind of swing him. So there's little platforms all around these levels, and his face can grab onto a platform. Then you swing his tail around, and that'll attach to another platform. Quite a simple system. The physics is quite good. The problem is the game is incredibly hard. Not in a fun Devil May Cry 3 sort of way, just in a bullshit way. There's loads of little bugs that fly around the levels, and if they hit your body, you lose life. 3 lives and you're done. So easy to lose lives, so difficult to avoid or kill the bugs. And every time you die, the game flashes up, oh, is it too hard? How about you buy an extra life? 69p.
Isn't this the same? Oh, buy a fucking life? 69p?
It's
Fuck
not
that.
a one-off life. It's like a permanent, now you've got 4 lives instead of 3 lives. At first, I thought it was just
One yeah.
one life, but still, it has actually infected the game's design. I talked about it with Fly With Me the other week, but that game is still perfectly playable without paying for the upgrades or easier difficulty. This game has been designed to fuck you off until you submit and pay more. So don't pay for it at all. 'Cause again, it's not a free game. You lay down your money in the first place. And while 69p in the first place isn't that much, there are many, many games on the iPhone that cost that much, which are worth it and aren't trying to rip you off. So, fuck that game.
Nice. What did you give it? What did you score it?
I think I scored it at 5.
Out of 10?
Because I had to be... Yes, because I had to be a bit more objective in a review, you know, because I had to see the plus points are there and there's some good physics, and it pains me to even say that, but...
Yeah, okay, sounds shithouse.
Angry John, yeah.
Right.
Angry John didn't like it at all.
Okay. All right, my number 6 is another iOS game. It's the port of the cave shooter Bug Princess, which is,
The
outstanding.
game I bought for you for Christmas.
Yeah, you did.
really.
I appreciate it, mate. I didn't even know it was out, but it's exceptionally good. But I think it's far too easy. I don't think, although those shooters so far prove that they can be adapted to iPhones and iPads and whatnot, and they work brilliantly. They're far too easy for somebody who likes the. The part of the joy of cave shooters is how they adapt to the pads and how you're kind of getting around the fact that the pad's not the ideal way of controlling them. that's part of the challenge. Whereas using your finger to control a ship, you can get. I mean, I completed the whole thing straight away. I don't think I died once.
So what you're saying is I bought you a shit Christmas present.
You did. You're a chump. No, it's really entertaining, and I'll play it again. But
you don't have to humour me.
No, I love those fucking games anyway, and that's like I said, I don't normally play iOS games, but with that in my pocket, I will pick it up at some point again. But
is it a vertical? Is it a side scroller?
They're all uppity.
All uppities.
Yeah, it's an uppity. It's a really good uppity. It's a really fucking good game, but. Yeah, like I said, I love those games because they're ridiculously challenging, and that one isn't it? But very entertaining. You know what I mean?
All right.
Nice.
So my number 6, I think I might have said the last one was number 6. Ignore me. This is the real number 6. A game called Ziggurat on the iPhone. It's an endless shooter. Really, really simple game. You're a little man with long blonde hair on top of a mountain. It's the end of the world, and all these aliens are trying to kill you. And you can shoot left, and you can shoot right at these aliens. Sounds shit. Somehow it isn't. The controls are really good because you just slide your finger across the bottom of the screen to aim, and then you can hold it, and your gun will produce a bigger green ball. It fires green balls. I don't know what they are. The bigger it is, the more damage it does, and so you get into this kind of rhythm of making the biggest ball and then firing that off. And at the same time, the aliens' heads get bigger and smaller in time, and you want to catch them when they're at their biggest, and then they'll set off a bigger chain explosion. So you get into this weird rhythm, which is unusual for this type of game. And ultimately, you eventually get killed, and it's all about trying to take down as many as you can before you go. But it's all done in nice kind of 16-bit style graphics, some cool retro music. 69p. It's actually designed by a guy called Tim Rogers, who used to write a column for, he may still write a column for Games TM, used to be a games journo, famous for handing in about 10,000 words when his commission was for about 500. But his game is not like his writing. It's really concise and to the point and neat, and it's just like kind of a jetpack joyride type situation. It is a true throwaway, quick, got 5 minutes to kill type of game, but I'll be damned if I wasn't retrying it every single time I died for about an hour.
Nice. Oh, that sounds all right.
It's all right. It really is. It's a fun little game.
Genuine. All right. Where am I? Number 5. My number 5 is Alan Wake's American Nightmare. And yeah, really, really. I haven't had Alan Wake play probably a couple of hours. The one thing I do like about it is that it's given everyone an opportunity to just come out and say that Alan Wake is a shooter, because I got really fed up with people saying it's a psychological horror, it's a thriller. It's not. It's a fucking shooter. All the stuff on the side was completely... Although I say it was of no interest to me, it's one of those games that I constantly think about going back to and sort of maybe giving the narrative a second chance. But it's... Yeah, you've played it, haven't you?
Yes, I think I may actually be further than you now, because it's my number 3.
Oh, right.
So yeah, we'll talk about it for a bit. It's definitely more shooter heavy than the main game.
Was it though?
Big Alan. Well, there's a lot more guns and ammo. I'll put it that way. In the other game, in the proper, I'm going to call it Big Alan. In Big Alan, you tended to run out of ammo, or it did that kind of survival horror thing of making all your supplies kind of scarce, whereas this is just like, here's all your batteries, here's all your guns. I appreciate that, to be honest, because it isn't 2001 anymore, and I'm not playing Silent Hill 2. I want some ammo. I want the skill to be in taking out the guys, not trying to conserve enough ammo to take out the guys. I had problems with it. You saying you really like it?
I really like it just because it stripped away a lot of the stuff. I thought a lot of Alan Wake was superfluous. I don't remember it being that stealthy. I just remember it being a shooter with like some Twin Peaks, Stephen King fucking knockoff nonsense in the middle.
Oh, it wasn't stealthy. It was just...
Sorry, not stealthy. I mean like survival horror. Sort of. I never remember being that sort of strapped for ammo or weapons or anything like that.
I remember it being that kind of stress, that like Dead Space in a way, where that stress that, I've got to be careful and make my shots accurate. Not that you actually aim the shots, but, try and not waste bullets. Whereas this, I just feel like I can just fire my shotgun and I'm never going to run out of bullets.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's a hell of a lot more arcadey, and there's no. If you want to explore, you're not going to have you're not going to find a hell of a lot. But it's fun so far. I mean,
Have you got to the bit where the game structure reveals itself?
there's 3 locations, and all I know is someone's already told me that you have to sort of basically recover old ground several times.
Yeah, I'm halfway through the second time through.
Oh, okay. Is that a bad thing?
I think the fact I knew that it was going to be like that coming in because I'd heard some other people talking about it in other podcasts. In fact, that probably helped because I think that if I'd gone in expecting the game to be linear A to B and then it done that, I'd be like, "Fuck you, small Alan." But as it is, they do. It seems to be reasonably elegant the way they do it. A second time through, the enemies are different, the narration's different. So they borrowed that narrator device from Bastion and kind of Alan Wake itself. But clearly it's a nod to that Bastion game. And also, brilliantly, you don't have to do all the boring shit as much second time through. So at the beginning of the first time through, you have to go and find the three items to change time. I can't say the script's too hot on this one. Second time through, you only have to get one of them, and it's in a different place because the girl explains. Have you met the doctor at the observatory yet?
The worst voice actor of all time?
The worst voice actress since Jill Valentine and Barry Burton in the
No. She takes the cake. She's top of the tree. She's
the worst. She's worse?
She's awful. I wish I remember this line of dialogue. She said, watch out.
Yes.
I'm going to try and find it so I can stick it on the end of the podcast. But she's shocking. Absolutely shocking. In this day and age, I can't believe that someone like her got hired. She's blatantly one of the developers' girlfriends or something.
But they're Finnish. She doesn't sound Finnish.
No, she sounds English, but...
Yeah. I think I could have done better. Genuinely. I could have put a high-pitched voice on and done a better job than she's...
I don't think there's many people that couldn't have done better because it was pretty shocking. And also, it wasn't a consensus at the time when the first game came out, but now, who can argue that Alan Wake really is a right dickhead?
Oh yeah, he's a douche.
I mean, like
I
a complete...
like that.
But was he this... I can't remember thinking he was this much of a twat in the first game.
He was a bit of a rude prick. In the first one.
One of the first skirmishes you get into in this one, some girls says, "Oh, watch out, they're after," and he's like, "I think I know that." I'm like, "You fucking tool! There's absolutely no need for that."
I like it when he keeps yelling at the girl in the garage to stay put, and she's like, "Can I come with you?" No, please stay put. And then she dies.
The other thing I really don't like about it is the thing I do like about it is they have stripped away so much stuff. If you go to someone and they say, "Go here, do that," you can go and do that. The option is there to press B, but it's just waffle. It's the kind of stuff that they would have forced you to listen to in a full-price game.
Agreed.
I've stood around and pressed B, and it's like, this is completely fucking... I don't need to know this at all, and I just run away and go and shoot some guys.
A lot of Kasabian in there as well.
I know that as a plot point. It's very funny when you read his diary and he describes their sound. It's
what was it? Distorted guitars and frenetic beats.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a 16-year-old's fucking music review or something, but it's charming. I like this sort of ski whiff language from being translated from Finnish, which is it's good. I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to finishing it. Not because I want it to be over, but because I want some more.
Yeah, I'm going to play through it. At the end of the first area, the first playthrough, as it is, there's some real shit bit towards the end, and the thought of having to do that again does suck.
Hard? Well, I mean, does it suck
really
hard? I mean, is it
involving a
difficult?
power plant. Have you got the bit with the electricity? You have to try and...
No.
Oh, that's shit.
Okay.
I thought it was going to go on for a lot longer than it actually did, and then it picked up after that. It seems fine. I like the idea of these games that are 15, 12 quid or whatever they cost. And
it looks great for a fucking XBLA game, yeah.
I guess it's just my busy lifestyle. That sounded wanky. I'm just really busy and I don't have any time. So shorter games are fine. Short games that cost 40 quid are hard to justify. Short games that don't, cost 10, 12 quid. That really suits me at the moment. So I'm super pumped to play I'm Alive next week, which I thought was out today, which is not. But that looks even more up my street. But yeah, American Nightmare. I'm going to play through. I'm going to finish it.
Genuine.
That's me, isn't it? I've been rambling on, but it's me. Yeah. My number 5 is, once again, probably for the last week, is UFC Undisputed 3. I've given up on 9. I can't see them ever fixing the ground and pound. Whether or not it's an exploit or not, I'm not sure. It's kind of the way the game's designed, but offline you can block in time and transition out when someone's spamming ground and pound. Online you've got that little bit of input lag, even in a smooth game, and people are just taking advantage of it, and it's nothing like the sport, the way it plays out. So I decided to just do what I've done on the old games and recreate the main events that are coming up in the real fights in the game. I did it for the fight this weekend between Ben Henderson and Frankie Edgar. I played a few matches out like that. It's just good fun. It's something that I'll probably do every time there's a big fight to kill half an hour. And that's about it. It's the best UFC game. There's still room to make a much, much, much better MMA game, I believe. I think if EA had the chance to do a sequel to MMA, which they're not going to, it doesn't look like, that game would have been better. But there's still room to grow. But I said that about wrestling games in about 2000, and they've never made a better wrestling game than the N64 ones. So here's hoping.
Indeed, yeah, I haven't played that at all this week, but it's still on my shelf, and I'm going to go back to it. Right, 4. I've just realised that aside from one, every single thing on my list this week is a shooter. I've got the shooters. I'm shooting out this week. I wondered why I didn't fancy playing anything early on. My number 4 is Muchi Muchi Pork.
Muchi Pork,
which is the final piece of the puzzle. It's the last Xbox 360 multi-region cave shooter that I've had to pick up, and it's the last one. There's not a lot you can say about cave shooters. They're all very different, but when you're trying to explain why, it sounds like there's not a lot in it. I'd heard that Muchi Muchi Pork was really easy, and it's really not. I mean, if this is supposed to be one of the easiest ones,
why is it called Muchi Muchi Pork? Is that even a question worth asking?
Well, you're collecting pigs. And you have
sounds right up your street already.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you what, if you read the plot synopsis on like PlayAsia or whatever, never before has a game been right up my street. You wouldn't believe it. But no, you collect pigs, you build up your lard meter, and then you fire your lard attack, and you basically have to keep firing your lard attack, and then instead of pigs, you drop medals, you get more points the longer you go on. That's the game. It sounds horrendous. If I was one of my neighbours, it's all fucking screaming Japanese women going. It's really, I mean, it's offensively noisy, but fantastic. Bastard hard though. I'd heard that this was the easiest cave shooter bar none, and if that's the case, I'm losing my fucking touch, boy.
Oh, shall I play Mushi Mushi Pork?
Well, how are you going to get it? I paid a ton for it. I had to import it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to fork out £100 to have a go, be my guest.
Yeah, no, I'm alright, to be honest.
Genuine.
Although it does sound funny, I'd like to see it.
There's bound to be some on YouTube. It's not funny, haha. It's like, Jesus Christ, this is like trying to drill inside my brain. But fun. If you like cave shooters, it's a great one. Aren't they all?
Great.
It is. I turned it with the sound down after a while.
I admire cave shooters, I just don't really get on with them.
That's fair enough.
My number 4 is Hero Academy.
A
game I can't shut up about. Finally found someone to play with that I know. Lovely Martin Gaston from Video Gamer, and within one game I understood the whole game. I needed someone to not smash me apart straight away. It's really simple. As I've said before, it's kind of Advanced Wars with wizards. That's a bit, it's a little bit incorrect because instead of having enough turns so you can move all your pieces like you can in Advanced Wars, you've got 5 turns per go. You have a little crew of unused pieces at the bottom of your screen. You can then zap them onto the screen and then they're live. You've got 5 moves, you move them about. There's like archers, you can fire at distance, support characters, you can heal up your other characters. Everything's really well balanced. The game's free. You can pay 69p to get rid of the ads, or you can pay to get a new team, Dark Elves or Dwarves. That also gets rid of the ads, and the new teams are balanced with the original team with the council, but they have their own unit types and their own moves. It's kind of really cartoony and charming and even funny in a way, and it's just a really bloody good game, asynchronous strategy game.
Interesting.
Just recommend it to everyone. It's fucking free, and you can genuinely play it. The free version, you don't need to pay any money, and you can still have a great experience. Your team that you get for free is perfectly balanced with all the other teams. The ads aren't that intrusive. They do pop up after every go, but you just press a little X in the bottom and they're gone. Everybody should get involved if you like turn-based strategy. Yeah,
it's on my phone. I just haven't played it yet, but I will. And I've already got 2 other people to download it, even though I don't think they've played it either. But you can hook up with it. Like, if I wanted to play it now and have a game against you, we could do that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to do it locally or anything like that.
No, if anyone wants to play me, my username on the game is John Denton22, Jon Denton22. So yeah, challenge me. You'll probably beat me because I've only won one match.
Interesting. Interesting. All right. What's my number 3? My number 3 is the Almighty slips another place, and I can't believe it. Battlefield 3. What more can I say? I love it to pieces. It's in my all-time top 3, probably. I don't know what to say.
What is your all-time top 3?
Vanquish number 1, Super Street Fighter probably number 2, and Battlefield.
Wow, all games in this generation.
Well, no, I was going to say it's Battlefield. Battlefield Bad Company 2, Battlefield 2. It's the series more than anything. If I had to pick a favourite, it'd be Battlefield 3. But yeah, I don't know. Those are always. I always say Vanquish is my favourite because I have to champion it because nowhere near enough fucking people have played it. Street Fighter is just perfection, and so is Battlefield. But both at the same time, Street Fighter is perfect. Battlefield isn't. Well, we're going. This is a whole other podcast in itself. Anyway, Battlefield 3, still love it. It's fucked. Brilliant.
Yep, I'm a big fan myself. I haven't played it for ages, but do intend to get back into it at some point. Finding time to play online and hooking everyone up at the same time is always difficult for me, but yeah, it's just the best online shooter, I believe. That is my opinion on that matter.
Yes.
My number 3 was Alan Wake's American Nightmare. I can't think of it. Have I remembered anything else I want to say? Yeah, the story is much worse than the story of the original Alan Wake, which itself is hardly a literary classic, but something, for the most part, I followed and enjoyed. Whereas this just seems to be nonsense, and the talking head scenes are barely animated. They look like they're being propped up by lollipop sticks. But I guess that's what you get for a little bit less dollar.
What animated? What, are you talking about the little TV screen bits?
No, they're quite good. The bits where Alan's talking to like the woman in the garage, and they both just stood upright like a PS2 game or even a PS1 game, and it's like.
No, he stopped. That's one thing I noticed when he's especially when he's watching those little TV screens, he does like this canned animation where he sort of turns to the side and goes, I'm not really paying any attention. You're like, look at the fucking TV, you dick.
He did it when a bunch of enemies came and they're all attacking me, and he starts looking away. I'm Alan.
He's that much of a dick. I wonder if they did that on purpose.
Good on Alan.
Okay, my number 2, Syndicate.
As is mine. So it's Chet.
I'm setting up the co-op, and I'm doing it with friends. We're now doing it on hard. It's a game that intermittently, all of us, during like loading screens or just lulls in the action, one of us will sincerely say something like, "This is really good," because we can't believe that more people are playing it and appreciating it. Co-op is it's so much fun. You haven't done co-op yet?
No, I haven't done co-op yet. No. I'm going to chat about the single player in a minute, but I am very excited about the co-op.
Are you going to? You've got to find time for it because
I will do.
The comparison to Battlefield's totally valid, because if you completely die if you're not coordinating, you have to be in constant chatter with your team. And we died, like we were playing it last night, died several times because we have to let everyone know where that enemy is, where you're going, what you're doing. You have to. It's so intensely difficult, and the only way around that is teamwork. It's brilliant. If you haven't played it, sort that out.
They've said that they want the co-op to stand alone, as it's an equal part of the product as a single player. Do you reckon that they've pulled that off?
Yes. I love that. I mean, I really enjoyed the single player, despite the fucking absolute car crash of a story. I love the single player. It's still the same game. It's still, I mean, they're still part of the same package. But I would say to people, if you just want a co-op game, the co-op side of this is worth buying the whole game for.
Like I say, definitely going to find time to play the co-op. I played the single player, played the first chunk, I'd say, of single player. And straight away I was amazed at some of the reviews it's been getting. Not necessarily scores, and I'm all for games having a range of scores. I think we need that more. Different people have different opinions, that's fine. It's the line that kept cropping up in a lot of reviews is generic. And while it is a shooter that doesn't do anything hugely different, I think generic's a little harsh. Maybe a lot of people haven't had to play some of the shit I've had to play over the years, like Black. Oh, what's that game with Black in it? Area 51, Black. I can't remember. Yeah, stuff like that. Syndicate is really, really classy and slick and weighty, and everything works really well. I love the breaching, the hacking on the fly, where even has the kind of active reload thing where you get it in the right point and you get a little breach spike. I love the bullet time slash see-through walls shit. I can't think of a better way of describing it. The flow between jumping in and out with that and taking out enemies. I like sort of looking one guy, make him kill himself, have those guys blow up their guns, quickly take out that guy. It made me feel. Now, when I play shooters, and other games to an extent, but really in first-person shooters, for some reason, I'm a little bit weird. I like to kind of play the role in the chair. When I'm playing Halo, I like to feel like I'm Master Chief. I don't know why, I just do. This game made me feel like a cold-hearted badass in a way that most shooters don't. It made me feel like a fucking chip-addled superhero that could just walk into a room, click his fingers, kill two guys, shoot two guys in the head without even trying, walk through, not give a fuck about anybody that they've just killed. And that's exactly what they've set out to do, and I think they've achieved it. I mean, you can talk all day about whether or not it pays true homage to the 19, 20-year-old original. All I can remember from playing that game is that the shotgun sounded amazing, and I like the idea of being a guy in a trench coat killing people in a game.
Yeah.
But,
no, it's fucking. It really is special. Well, special, is that the word? I mean, I just think it's a terrific. I enjoyed the single player. I'm going to go back to it. It felt like the flip side of Crisis, because whereas in that the powers were all geared towards stealth, whereas this they just you can use them and whip each situation into a mental frenzy. And everything about it is so polished and so tight. I'm surprised as well that it wasn't more people aren't shouting about it.
Yeah, I do think that there is an air of the fact that it wasn't hyped or promoted hugely, and that can lead to. I'm not talking about reviewers specifically. You know, maybe there are some guys out there that it's happened to subconsciously, but certainly in commenters and probably people who haven't played it but are keen to comment on reviews and on forums. Because the game hasn't received the type of hype that maybe it would have had the exact same game been coming out from a different publisher who had a smaller portfolio like Warner or something like that. Subconsciously, I think that people have just think that this is an okay game to ignore and an okay game to think that's 6 out of 10. Now, I can't be arrogant. I've only played the first chunk and I haven't played the co-op, so I may finish the game, change my opinion, think it is a 6 out of 10 game, and the whole thing that I've talked about is
I don't think that will happen. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Just judging by a lot of the comments that I've been reading, it seems like there's an air of EA don't care, so I don't care. But on a subconscious level, I think. Whereas if this game had been hyped to the fucking moon and was the exact same game, I reckon it would have been getting higher scores and people would have been talking it up.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's Gleam. I'm looking forward to going to do some co-op tonight. You up for it?
Quite possibly. Quite possibly. Yeah.
All right. Well,
see how everything goes.
Genuine. All right.
I will play it though.
Nice. Okay. Well, my number one. Speaking of underrated games, yet another shooter, Binary Domain. Really, really good. It's really, really good. I just finished it yesterday. It's the only.
Isn't it just like shit?
See, that's the. I'm surprised that people think that as well. I mean, all right, it does look shit. It looks generic and it looks bollocks, but it's so goofy, so just really richly goofy and stupid. But the story,
they didn't do a good job of putting that across.
No, they didn't, and it's something that kind of seeps into it as you go on. I mean, like just that some of the people that go. There's this French droid called Kane who joins your squad, and he's basically the halfway point between that candlestick in the Disney Beauty and the Beast and John Cleese in the Holy Grail. That's that character. Yeah, brilliant. But the story, if this wasn't a sci-fi shooter, or if they'd been a bit more canny about how they pushed it across, this would have been eligible. I don't think anyone's going to recognise how well written this story is. Halfway through it, I was like, I bet this started life as a film. And of course it didn't. It's because, what's his chops? I can't believe I forgot his name. Nagoshi? The guy behind Yakuza. It's spectacularly well written. It's one of those games that because it's a shooter, because it's a sci-fi sort of meat-headed romp, that's the way I describe it, romp. I never use that word, but it sums this up perfectly. It's not going to get the kind of recognition that it deserves, and there were so many interesting things that it did, and there were times when I thought, I want this to offer me choices. because one of the main conceits is that there's these robots, this whole subsection of robots that look like humans and they don't know they're not humans, and there's some really effective cutscenes that they actually use it to show that your character is a bit of a scumbag, but I would have liked to make that choice, so I kind of wanted more choice. But that's a testament to how well written it was. Honestly, it's up there. This should be getting sort of awards next year, although it's not going to because it's a Sega shoot 'em up.
It's done well in reviews, though.
It has.
On the whole.
It has.
It's not done well commercially at all.
No, I heard it charted like in the low 30s.
35, I think. Yeah, 35, 37.
It's fantastically enjoyable. And the perfect length as well. I think it's between 10 and 12 hours. And it never, it felt like it needed to be that long. Cutscenes weren't long. It's just a neat little game. The only thing that the new thing, the voice, you can sort of 50-50 how well that works, but it tends to work better and faster if you use the pad. But it's a nice idea when it does work. But what a very, very, it's an entertaining game, but just I'm floored by how well written it was.
It's just so difficult to find enough time to play all these shooters that secretly come up and been decent.
Yeah.
Like the Darkness 2 and now this. Yeah. These aren't games. I mean, Binary's Domain, I didn't even know it was out. I mean, I can't remember the last time I didn't know a major game was out. It's been years, and suddenly it was out. I was like, I thought this wasn't out for another month or so.
Yeah.
That just sums it up. I mean, if I don't know a game's out, then how the fuck is guy who's got a job that's not in the games industry going to know it's out? No wonder.
Yeah, and look at the box. Look at the generic box and the fucking title. Binary Demo. I know. Do you know what I mean?
Fucking hell. When it first came out, that first trailer, I was just like, oh my god. It's only when I did a little bit of research into it and realised it was Nagoshi and heard some of the previews and stuff like that, it started to sound a little more interesting. But I must say, until I've heard you talk about it now, I'm still like, ooh, really?
Ignore that. I mean, no. The campaign's great. Multiplayer is a complete washout. There's a Horde rip-off, which I don't reckon was even play-tested because the enemies are so unaggressive that it turns into a game of hide and seek after each wave. You have to go and find some guy that's just like crouched hiding. And you're like, okay, right, that's a lot of fun. And the sort of Gears-style deathmatch is quite cool, but spawn points don't move. So every game I had, I'd spawn into the gunfire of someone who knew exactly where I was going to spawn.
Japanese developers can't do that.
Yeah, really. if they fix it, it'll be pretty cool. But at the moment, it's just unplayable, really.
And there's no one to play it with, I assume.
It was quite hard to find the game. Yeah.
Yeah. My number one then this week is SSX.
Oh.
One of my all-time favourite series from down the years. The reason I got into the PS2 so heavily was the first SSX, and was a huge fan of SSX 3, which most people seem to be huge fans of SSX Tricky. I love
tour.
3.
Is 3 on tour?
No, 4 is on tour.
I
love 3 and 4 more than Tricky,
yeah.
Because what I loved about those games was the really long peak runs you could do that took like 20 to 30 minutes. So initially I was really disappointed with the new SSX because no run in the whole game lasts longer than 5 minutes, and most are about 2 minutes. So you never get into that huge immersive flow that the previous games, the last 2 games in the series, managed. So it almost feels like a step back in that way. But taking the game for what it actually is instead of what it isn't, they've done a really good job of capturing the speed and insanity of the other games in terms of the tricks that you can pull off, making it even faster than it's ever been, and just constantly keeping you in a flow of, it is the best way to describe it. It has a Hot Pursuit style auto log system called RiderNet. It works in a very similar way. It's a little bit more in depth, but if you dive into it and ignoring the World Tour mode, which has its own crap story, and the deadly descents, the gimmicky fucking survive the mountain stuff, that isn't actually very good. What you want to be doing is diving into the challenges, and every time you finish, it'll flash up your rival, real life rival on your friends list has done this. Can you beat him? So you'll go straight there, and then you can get into this flow of traveling around the whole world, doing all these different challenges, loads of different styles of play, and the game's just taking you there, and it's completely organic because you're just going and trying to beat your friends rather than playing through a prescripted structured game that someone at EA has come up with. You're playing in a completely different way, which I did to a degree with Hot Pursuit, but then I also dived back in and just did it in the structured way in Hot Pursuit. Whereas this is actually much more fun to play it like that, because you'll see when you play it. It's structured really unusually, and there's about 150 drops, as they're called, runs. A lot of them overlap and things like that, but yeah, it's just that is the way to play, in my opinion.
I can't wait. I mean, I haven't even touched the demo. It's one of those games that I'm anticipating really quite a lot now, so I don't want to know anything about it. I don't want to touch it, but yeah, hopefully next week I'll assess the absolute shit out of it.
Yeah, it's a real spread of reviews. It's got 9 on Eurogamer. It's got 40% on Now Gamer, 5 in Edge.
5 in Edge?
5 in Edge, I think 8 on Video Gamer. Real spread of reviews. It's got 9 somewhere else. So
wow.
If I was dropping a score on it, I would drop an 8. That would be my score. I think the main complaint some people have is how easy it is to land tricks, whereas I wasn't really thinking about it like that. I was thinking about how difficult it is to rack up great scores to beat the other scores. Landing tricks, I never had a problem with landing tricks in any of the SSX games, so it seems to be a big point of contention for some people. Didn't really even think about it, to be honest, when I was playing. But yeah, see what you think, and I'll be intrigued to hear.
Well, yeah, I'm going to sesh the absolute bastard out of it if I have it before the weekend, which, oh yeah, I will. So yeah, that'll be next week, I should imagine.
Fantastic. Cool. Well, that does it for another Chet and John's reassuringly finite gaming playlist. Like we promised, we were in and out within 40 to 45 minutes. And we will be back next week with another dueling top 10. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. I'm at John Denton, that's Jon Denton. He's at Chetroivas, Chetroivas. And you can check out the website at thefiniteplaylist.com. See you next week.
Thanks.
Yes. He showed me a knife, and he kept talking. He enjoyed the sound of his own voice. A proper maniac.
Make it feel quite fresh, because when you play Horde on any other game, customization is not normally important, but here it's really important. And from what I played, it's far more promising than you'd expect, really.
So is that what we're looking at? We're looking at a Horde mode. So I've not been keeping tabs on the multiplayer, so I don't care, to be honest, for Mass Effect's multiplayer.
No, neither do I. To be honest, it's like I'll finish the story once, and I'll think I still want to spend time in this universe, and I've got friends who finished it. We'll play around a little bit. It's not something that anyone would buy the game for, but it's well packaged. It's nice. It's fine. It's like, I mean, considering how cynical everyone was about it, and that it was just going to be a complete rush job and a load of nonsense, they've spent a lot of time on it. I just fucking well hope that it's not to the detriment of the campaign.
How's the combat compared to 2? Is it a little sharper? Yeah, I got bored of it after 1 and 2.
I never understood that. I mean, I played through it 3 times, and I don't understand why that was. You're a bit more limber. It's a slightly faster. Massive differences, not really. You couldn't really tell.
It only needed a tightening up for me. It didn't need to be wholesale changes.
It's tighter. It's definitely tighter, but yeah, it's not. I mean, I did after doing the first half hour that I'm going to play it on the DS and not finish it on the iPhone.
Oh, really? How come?
I don't know. I really can't put my finger on it. It feels so much like a Nintendo
That's
game.
funny for an iPhone.
What did I say?
You really can't put your finger on it.
Oh dear, that's right. No, I really I couldn't quite place why my feelings were the way they were, but it felt so much like a Nintendo game. The way that it was localized, the sort of just the general sort of amiable nature of it, and I don't know.
So you're going to pick up the DS version instead?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to play it, but for some reason it just felt wrong playing it on a phone. Like I was playing a pirate copy or something. And I'd be interested to know who localised it, whether it was actually Capcom or Nintendo, because it has a very Nintendo-y flavour, just the sort of light-hearted banter.
I think it was Capcom, because it's similar to how the Phoenix Wright games are done, and they're localised by Capcom.
I could have sworn Nintendo did those as well, though, don't they?
Oh, well, if you're right there, then I'm an idiot. So
Well, I don't know why I'm saying that I'm right and you're not, because I might be wrong. But I thought they treated those as essentially second party.
Someone did them, and they did a good job.
They did, and
So yeah, I'm sure it works on a Mac too.
When you say it's an MMO, is it like it's just shitloads of people all online? It's not like I don't know why. I always, whenever anyone says MMO, they tend to mean MMO RPG.
Yeah, no, it's not MMORPG. It's MMO 8-bit shooter. So there are loads of other people around. You kind of team up with them and go to do the quests with them, but it happens organically. Like you see another bloke and you're like, this guy's going to be able to help me, rather than you stop and have a chat and talk about fucking armor. I don't know, but
are there microtransactions?
I don't know. To be honest, it's number 10, not number 1, so I didn't play it for long enough. There's probably a bit more depth in there. I might go back to it because it was fun. It's just the music. Someone said the music was good. They're fucking wrong. The music makes you want to just scoop your brain out of your eye socket.
Nice.
So maybe next time I'll play it with the sound off.
Genuine. All right. My number 9 is Mass Effect 3. Sadly, not the full game, just the demo. I don't normally do demos, and I stayed away from the single-player component, but I had a look at the multiplayer, and it's looking a hell of a lot better than expected, actually. The AI is aggressive. The customization options commend them for that, and I look forward to seeing hearing more of it when I get the DS version at some point.
I'm glad you picked it up though.
It's great. I mean, if you've only got an iPhone, get it. It's great, and the first hour and a half also, as John said, is free, so you can't go wrong.
You cannot go wrong.
Genuine.
Excellent. Talking of free games, my number 10 is a game called Rage of the Mad God, which a few people were talking about online this week, so I decided to check it out. It's like an 8-bit styled MMO shooter. So it's free to play. It's really frantic. You play as a little wizard, little sort of sprite wizard, go through a couple of little training bits, and then you're off in this huge flat world shooting things, like a really old school, almost Robotron gauntlet type deal. But there's loads of other people in there who are real players, and there's loads of little quests that you can just go. All the quests are just shoot this thing and dodge the bullets. It's really hectic, frantic. Don't know if I'd ever play it again, but it's worth checking out. Rage of the Mad God, it's called. I think it's just rageofthemadgod.com. Some people seem to love it. I thought it was alright.
What was this, an iOS, or was it just a Flash game?
PC browser game.
Okay.
Where brevity is paramount.
Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Chet and John's reassuringly finite gaming playlist. My name's John Denton, and with me as always is Chet Roivas.
All right.
We're a couple of veteran video games journalists, I guess you could call us that. You've probably read our stuff over the years in OXM, The Telegraph, Games TM, all sorts of places. Basically how this podcast works is we aim for 20 games in 40 minutes or thereabouts. So we both have a top 10 list of the games we've been playing the most that week, and we reveal them to each other one by one. There's a bit of chat, a bit of banter on the way, and because we're fortunate enough to both work in the games industry, we can focus on stuff that's not even out yet or is just out this week that we've been lucky enough to play. So enough chat. Let's kick things off with your number 10, Chet.
Number 10. Right, what have I got here? Ghost Trick on the iOS version of Ghost Trick.
You picked it up?
I did. I did about the first half hour. After about 5 minutes, it was mad love. I was just like, I love this already. But I've decided